Hello, Central State, and welcome to the Marauder Land News Update. I'm Adarie Thomas.
And I'm Mikayla Killings.
Students, faculty, and staff and the community got together at Central State University Seed to Bloom Botanical and Community Garden on Monday to see the solar eclipse. Everyone in attendance got some eclipse glasses to see the moon and sun come together, making the experience fun for all. To see up in the sky that only comes around every 20 years.
Man, I think it's great. I feel like everybody coming out here seeing a one-in-a-lifetime thing. I mean, so we ain't ever gonna see it again till a couple years from now. So, I mean, it means a lot. It really do.
It is exhilarating. It really is. I have to say that my first time seeing just the crescent moon and the orange and the ambience of it all is just beautiful. Being surrounded by the community who is also thrilled to see it as well is just amazing.
If you missed out on Monday's solar eclipse, do not worry. The final one of the year will take place October 2nd. The next total solar eclipse in the lower 48 states in the U.S. will be on August 23rd, 2044.
The Communications Department of CHAS has something to be proud of as they celebrated the 29th Annual Com Week last week. CSU journalism and digital media alumni, journalists from various TV and radio stations, and others were on hand telling students their expertise working the broadcasting field and some helpful advice that helped them land their first job in the field. The campus community also got to remember the tragic 1974 tornado that hit the Central State and Xenia.
Communication Week is a week in which we showcase professionals from the industry. And it's a week that highlights some of the advances and technologies and best practices within the industry. And we feel it's important for our students to be exposed to such.
The Marauder Land News Update took Com Week by storm as they racked up the awards during the networking luncheon last Friday. 11 members of our crew took home awards including Alana Jones, Shania Hubbard, Victoria Daniels, Trey Dunn, Nia Brunson, Mikayla Killings, Demia Harris, Kamani Coquit, Zion Adams, Dora Black, and Keontae Lewis. Congratulations to our team and keep up the good work.
Wow, congratulations, Mikayla. That is very awesome to win that award.
Thank you so much, Adarie. It caught me by surprise.
Well deserved. During this year Com Week,
April 3rd marked the 50th anniversary of the tornado that touched down Central State University and the city of Xenia.
Marauder Land News reporter Sara Ross was at the memorial service speaking to a survivor that experienced the scary twister.
Students, faculty, and staff came together at the Alumni Tower to listen to guest speakers telling their experience on what happened on April 3rd, 1974.
And I was in my dorm watching it. I was coming from student teaching at the time from Woodrow Wilson off of 68. As the storm approaches, I was coming down 42, and by the time I reached campus, I had enough time to make a phone call. I looked at my mom and said, "Mother, I think we're getting to have a storm." By that time I got off the phone, I looked at Galloway Hall, I saw the tornado was coming. It did not make it to the dorms, thank God. It veered down this way here behind the Galloway Hall. That's when I saw everything go awry.
On April 3rd, 1974, two violent F5 tornadoes caused damage across the eastern United States, causing destruction in the city of Xenia and Wilberforce. On this day, 50 years ago, Central State University was hit hard by a tornado and 80% of the campus was destroyed, but the people of the university refused to be defeated. 4 people that were associated with the university lost their lives on this day, and 3 of whom were driving in the area at the time. 1 was a student and 3 were staff members who worked at the university. However, regardless of the destruction, Central State immediately started planning to reopen within a week. Retired math professor Robert Marcus shares his story about what happened on this tragic event.
Well, at first I didn't believe it. There were other faculty and staff saying that we have bad weather and that they think it may be a tornado, but I just didn't think that we would get a tornado here. But then as we heard some noise, it was kind of a low rumble. We came and looked out of the window, and we knew there had to be something going on. I stayed on campus because when we thought that could be a tornado like everyone said, we said that we had better go back inside of the building and sit on the floor. I mean, at least we had sense enough to know that if there's bad weather, or tornado or something like that, if you're going to have any part of the building falling down, it's best to be in the middle of the building.
The next day, 5 survivors, Alma Brown, Lisa Taylor Devon, Dr. Greta Winbush, Victor Davis, and Obie Houston were on a survivors panel to talk about surviving the horrifying twister.
Those singing birds got bigger and bigger. And the more I looked, you could tell it wasn't birds anymore. It was debris. You could see rooftops and you name it, tree limbs, everything coming. And all I told the guys to do, get to the basement. I didn't think about the basement because my office was directly behind. I got Winwoods, we went to my office. I had, trying to be cool, I had 2 beds. As a house director, I had 2 single beds that I had wrapped together to look like a king size.
I saw a perfect funnel, sky blue, and it would whip around across the highway, split into 2, come back together, and split. It just kept splitting and coming back. And there were lightning bolts coming out of it from the ground up. And so I'm standing there. As soon as we got across the street, I told my brother was with me and my next door neighbor, and I told my brother, go in there and call Mom and tell her a tornado's coming.
Sara Ross, Marauder Land News Update, Wilberforce, Ohio.
The Office of Career Services held its first ever career signing day at the University Student Center last Wednesday. Students got the VIP treatment, just like the Star High School athletes did during their signing day period, as they announced where they will be interning at this summer in front of their peers and family. 2 members of the Marauder Land Media Group announced their internships destination, as MMG President Trey Dunn will be doing work at the Idaho National Laboratory, and MMG Treasurer Victoria Daniels will be interned with Gordon Food Service. A big-time congratulations to you both.
The men's volleyball team is riding on a 2-game losing streak as they face rival Kentucky State this evening.
The football team prepares for their spring game next Saturday, and the track and field teams are competing in the Mount Olive Trojan Invite.
And here's your Marauder Sports Report.
Good afternoon, Central State. I'm Trey Dunn.
And I'm Mikayla, and this is your Marauder Sports Report.
I appreciate you joining me today, Mikayla.
No problem.
Let's start it off with the men's volleyball team as they faced the Maryville Saints last Thursday in Beacom Lewis Gymnasium. The Marauders took a 2-0 lead over the visitors with the scores of 25-23 both times. However, they left the door wide open for the Saints to come all the way back to claim a 3-2 victory over the Maroon and Gold.
Honestly, I think it was just a lot of little mistakes that we made that it just caught up to us. We fought hard, but just not enough. Maryville ended up just coming back and taking it. We just needed to make some adjustments, and those are things we got to fix going into the postseason.
On Friday, April 12th at 7 p.m., Central State will host their rivals Kentucky State on senior night.
This week, we caught up with Central State's men's and women's track and field teams to see how their season is going and recap the team's recent meet against the University of Charleston. Both the men's and women's track and field teams finished in the top 3 at the meet, but head coach Elliot Lightfoot wasn't pleased with their performance and expects better from them moving forward.
But as a unit, we need to be focused going in and getting ready to compete. And no matter who it is or what the circumstance it is, the weather can't be an excuse, especially when you're competing against schools that are competing in the same type of weather that we are on the daily.
He knows we have a lot of potential, and he knows that we can do a lot better than what we did at the last meet, so that's why he's not pleased with what we did. At the end, I think we tried to make up for it and tried to push hard even during the weather conditions, but that's all we could do.
Central State's football team is preparing for its annual spring game, which takes place next Saturday at 1 p.m. at McPherson Stadium. Coach Kevin Porter expects the team to build on last season's success and compete big time in the SEAC.
I think that we've got a good football team coming back, a team that has a lot of veteran guys, a team that has a bunch of guys that have played a bunch of ball in our systems, so our expectations are high. We had a great recruiting class here for 24. Did really well, we feel like, with our junior college transfer kids and some of our mid-year transfers. So we're expecting big things.
That's all we have for the Marauder Sports Update. Back to you.
Thank you for watching the Marauder Land News Update.
Please visit our Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube pages for the latest news happening on and off campus. And remember,
We're here for you, CSU.